I'm going to do a VOD review here for Rich for Overwatch. We're playing some Reinhardt on King's Row. This is a VOD I tried quite a few times yesterday to get done. I wasted a ton of time early because they were actually running a Sigma, and then this was Hammond for like the majority of the beginning. In those matchups, don't go Reinhardt. You just straight get hard countered. Just to kind of put it in perspective, as Reinhardt, you could put your shield up, and then you have to drop it to swing or fire strike, and Sigma can keep his shield up while doing damage. There was actually one point in the game where you were shield hopping forward like you should as Ryan to clear as much space as you can. Just by doing that, you dropped down to like 50 health. You had to stand with your shield up. You got full healed, dropped your shield to throw a fire strike, and instantly got deleted again. It's a horrible matchup. You can't really do anything against Sigma, and if there's a ball also, your shield doesn't stop this, and it doesn't stop ball, doesn't stop Genji, and this was a Widow at the time. It doesn't really do anything for your team no matter how well you're playing. So we just want to switch off. You're not going to get a ton of value. Then we skip forward, and there's a point right about here after here. This is when they finally switch to Ryan. So this is where we're actually going to start the VOD review. I know what happens in this fight, so spoiler alert, we waste our shatter, but I do want to talk about the thought process behind it was completely correct. So let's watch the fight first. So we're just trying to clean up point. We got a ton of kills. It's like 6v3 right now with Ryan coming on point. So this is right when they first switched to Reinhardt. What we're going to do is this flashbang is going to hit us. As soon as we come out of stun, we're going to shatter this grab where the Ryan is, and we're going to miss. So your thought process, and I assume this was your thought process, which is the correct thought process, is we can win this fight right now and cap the point. So if I get any value from my ult, that's positive value. So I'm just going to ult and try to get anything so we have a chance to win this fight. Unfortunately, we shatter straight into the grab where the Ryan shield is up and we don't hit anything with it and don't really get much value. We actually end up losing this fight eventually. Just kind of watch this. So again, the thought process to just use my ult so I get some value so we can win while they're short, 100% correct. Using this ult, 100% correct. Now, as far as execution of the ult, definitely we know not correct. Let's aim for something squishy. Maybe save it for the Ryan to be in a different position where he'll actually get hit by the shatter. When he's in grab, obviously he's going to hold his shield up. Also, if you're on this side of cart facing towards their spawn, you can usually hit more, and the cart disguises your shatter really well. Just small execution things, but thought process, 100% right, and I can appreciate that. So we end up losing this fight. So now that they have a Reinhardt, the number one thing you can control as far as main tank battles and solo queue is how well the Reinhardt can hit his shatters and how well you can hit yours. It doesn't just mean hitting Q, it means ult charge as well. So we need to start tracking the other Ren's ult charge. He just got nanoed in a cleanup fight where you were first dead. I'm going to assume that by the end of this fight, assuming Ryan's alive the whole time, he's going to have 80% to 90% of his ult. Just off of you alone, he probably got 30%-ish. So he's probably sitting around 30% right now.
Yo, he's so in these.
And he's walking into the team. He got another kill. He probably had a little bit of that. I'm going to assume he's at 60 to 70%.
Expecting a fire strike.
What's up?
Expecting.
So he's at 60-70%, so be prepared for that. He might have shatter. Now, there's two concepts I want us to go over. One is a really common kind of theory concept going around Overwatch right now of a tank push and pull battle. It's the idea of the tanks are always working in conjunction. Your main tank and your off tank. When you guys have cooldowns up, you can push into their team. After you get to that spot and try to hold it, their team can counter with their cooldowns and push you back. So there's sort of a line of scrimmage like in football. If we're doing left and right, it's like here's their team, here's our team. Line of scrimmage starts right in the middle. So your main tank, your Reinhardt, and your Zarya can kind of push up, and it changes the line of scrimmage from here to here. And now this is what we talk about controlling space. So you guys created space, and now you're controlling more of the battlefield. But now their Reinhardt, and in this case their Hog, let's say whatever it was, doesn't matter, they still have cooldowns because you guys pushed into them with cooldowns. Now it's their turn, so they use cooldowns, and they push the line of scrimmage back to where it originally was, or even farther on your side. And there's this constant push and pull back and forth between the tanks. Your job is to take more space than them, but understand that they're going to push back. Don't just stand there. If they're using cooldowns into you, it's okay to back up. Give them some space so you take less damage and give them less ult charge, and then you can still counter engage. And the other concept we understand is sort of fighting game concept from the FGC of you can play neutral with the other Reinhardt. there's always a safe distance where neither one of you can really hit each other, whether it be with melee swings or with fire strikes. If neither one of you can hit you, that's okay. Our job is to try to close the gap to hit our fire strike or to hit our swing without them being able to do it back, so we get a little more ult charge than them. Instead of worrying too much about how deep that concept goes, it's better to just understand that that is a thing that happens, so you can try to identify it. But the best way to actually execute and improve on this without fully understanding it is just focus on ult charge. Your job as Ryan for the rest of this game is to build more ult charge than their Reinhardt. A full defense theoretically is supposed to be 7 minutes. It's supposed to be 30 seconds per fight, which means theoretically there can be 14 full fights on defense. If there's 14 full fights on defense, it is theoretically possible and completely reasonable for you as Reinhardt to get 10 shatters off. You can shatter 10 times in 14 fights. You guys have good ult economy and you're actively working on your ult charge. And we discussed this before, you should already know. What are the 3 best ultimates in the game that aren't defensive ults? So no beat, no trans. What are the 3 best ults? You should already know. We have Shatter, we have Grav, and we have Blizzard. Why are these the best ults in the game? Again, something you should already know. We'll do like Blue's Clues. Like, what do you think? Ooh, okay. They're the best ults in the game because they're CC. Shatter is hard cone CC. You get a massive area in front of you and it hard CCs them where they can't use abilities, they can't move, nothing. They're done. Gravitron, even though it's a soft CC, it's almost considered hard CC. It straight holds everything in a spot. It's amazing. It's a projectile that shoots out. Zarya is super safe when she's using it. Like Sigma ult, for example, Sigma isn't very safe when he uses it. But it is a really strong ult because it is CC. Blizzard, also same thing. It starts as soft CC, builds into hard CC. They're amazing area of effect CC ults that just put your team an advantage. If you hit a 6-man shatter, they could have used 6 ults and you can still win the fight. That's why it's the best ult in the game. Same thing with Graviton. They use Nanoblade and you grab that Genji, they just wasted 2 ults for your ult and you win the fight. It's amazing. And Blizzard, same thing. Mass CC, control an area, can shut down other ults. They're the best ults in the game, so you can carry as Reinhardt pretty easily. So that's what our goal is going to be. So this is right when I stopped scouting the video. So I know you're going to throw a fire strike, you're going to hit their Rein and their Hog. Perfect fire strike right here. And one thing to note, whenever you're throwing fire strikes from here on out, just aim at the Reinhardt. Anything else is a bonus. But if you hit the Reinhardt every single time, you get pretty much 10% every time this comes up. So that's 10% per 6 seconds. So that means per minute, multiplied by 10, that's an ult just off of your fire strikes, right? 6-second cooldown. You can throw it on cooldown about between the time it takes for this cooldown to go off and hitting the fire strike, you get 10%. Super simple math. That's with no swings, no pins, nothing. You just get one every minute as Reinhardt. So always aim with the Reinhardt. Everything else is a bonus. So we eat this fire strike from their Ryan. Obviously, we want to kind of avoid that. However, I see what we're trying to do. So as we're moving up, you were shield hopping because you want to protect the Zarya. Ultimately, I'd kind of put this on the Zarya. The Zarya is making a mistake chasing the Hog, especially a nano full energy Zarya. She should always walk into the Reinhardt because the Reinhardt has to make a decision. Do I keep my shield up or do I shield hop back? If he keeps the shield up, Zarya can actually just walk past the shield and burn him. If he shield tops, he's eating damage the whole time and Zarya still walks up behind and kills him. If a main tank goes down, the team loses the fight. So it's a misway from our Zarya, but we're doing our best to try to protect her. So we're trying to move our shield hop and get in front of her so she doesn't get slept or hooked into this pit since Hog is over here. So you're playing this how you should as far as helping your teammates. Just understand we did eat that shatter, that fire strike. Assume that he has shatter at this point. Okay. All right. So we're doing our best to help our Zarya here. I really like the Ryan tech, shield hopping forward. Coalescence is up, which means I want to get out of this fight. As soon as they pop this ult, there's no reason to go in unless we're committed. And we're not committed. So this is a good opportunity to just back up. And if we back up, we're actually in position to help against this Reaper ult. Now, since we're already in and we're not backing up, when that Reaper ult happens, not your job. Unless you're close enough to actually put your shield on the Reaper to prevent some of the damage, 100% not your job. You're not going to be able to do anything here. So falling back for the Reaper is a bad choice. If you want to fall back to reset, sure, that's not bad. But at this point, I would actually just consider going forward to build some ult charge. Again, we know the Ryan has shatter, or we're assuming he has shatter, so I don't care if I feed him ult charge.
I literally have grab.
I don't have any healers. Come back.
Don't use any.
Alright, good call to retreat.
Get out, get out. Sorry,
Zarya's dead.
Bounce. Can't get out, dude. I have 30 HP and the shield is decaying. It's alright though. I literally
Okay.
just go grab it.
So didn't note it, but another good fire strike on the Reinhardt.
Yeah, no, it's
So
actually
we have it up
good.
right now. I would just walk and do it. So Zarya's just spawning right now. By the time she gets there, this will be off cooldown. See right here. So go ahead and throw another fire strike. 100% need to be focusing on just ult charge. If you have that conscious effort, just I want to build more ult than the other main tank, you will win more games than lose. That's just how this game works right now.
And they have a fucking Reinhardt.
And that's how to
so
play
it's
Reinhardt.
Shield, and it's a free fucking
Yeah.
smite.
Alright, so we threw it, and anything that's fine. At least we threw it.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Reaper
Just don't let me get
teleporting
pulled.
top
Reaper
right.
top. Well, no, here, dude. Just break shield with Deadeye, and then I'll grab, and then we can just fucking shoot them.
Okay, so we got to call break shield, and then grab, or break shield with Deadeye, then grab. I mean, you can just grab and Deadeye. It goes through shield if you charge
Shield
it.
with
But
Deadeye. And
definitely be looking for an extra fire strike right here. You know the Ryan's going to be rotating one way or the other, so just take your guess. Typically, they're going to rotate Ryan side. So if you're on this side of the cart, he's going to rotate this side of the cart. It's just how it works.
then I'll grab, and then we can just fucking.
Like right there, juicy fire strike. You get that free ult charge. I want to see you get that off.
Just grab.
Okay.
I can't. Just grab.
So he fire strikes, we swing, and he tries to get the shatter in between the swing. Good block.
I can't.
Yeah, we just kept shield up, which is fine. There's nothing you can do. That's why Deadeye's so good against Reinhardt, and that's why I don't understand our team's call, but again, not a problem. Or not your problem. Okay, they're overcommitting ults. That's really good. Their Ryan got nanoed, but it was in between fights, so he's not going to get a lot of ult charge. So I wouldn't be too worried about him.
Let's go. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Can you farm an EMP by then?
Maybe.
He better be able to. He's at 80%. You should be able to get your shatter this fight, too. That's going to be your goal. Alright, fire strike. We throw it at the Ryan. We miss the Ryan, but we end up hitting 2 behind, so ends up being a good fire strike, but it's consciously aimed at the Ryan, so if we could have gotten that just a little bit farther left, we're not going to... This technically is mechanics, so we shouldn't really be breaking it down, but just psychologically, you know which way the Ryan's going to move, right? And you're shooting a projectile, so just predict his movement a little bit and aim for the Ryan. It sounds kind of like difficult, or maybe even like a small point as we're doing it in VOD review, but if you actively are trying to always hit the Ryan with your fire strike and think about how he's moving, you're going to hit way more than you think. It was one of my first aha moments on Ryan of like, yeah, it's really obvious how Ryan's move, because I play Reinhardt. I know how they move. And after I started doing that, you get an extra 2, 3, 4 shatters every single game, and that's the difference between a 50% win rate and a 60% win rate. Think about it. If you could just get 3 extra shatters over the course of a whole game, that's absolutely going to increase your win rate. But we end up hitting 2 of them here, so we get some nice charge. We got plenty of time. We don't need to rush this. Doom is not your job as Ryan. So this is one that is kind of tricky. Especially with the current meta, 100%, you can't do anything to stop Doomfist unless you're absolutely predicting him landing with his ult, or where he's going to be after a right click before he can uppercut. Don't go for those prediction plays at this point. It's just, they're too tough and inconsistent. Let your team handle Doomfist. You can't do anything to him. Even if you hit him with a swing, you're just going to take a little bit of the shields he just built. Your swings only do, what, 60, 70 a swing, or whatever it is, 60 a swing. So don't worry about those. Let him do his thing. Get out of there. Keep your attention forward. We don't want to eat a hook. We don't want to eat a fire strike. We don't want to get slept or naded. Keep your shield up here. Keep moving up. If we're shielding the Doomfist, that is just as good as swinging on him, because he can't get healing from his Ana now. So keep forward. Don't get distracted by things behind you. It's not your job. Your job is to stay forward, stay healthy, build your ult. So this, rough. And we actually die for it. Okay.
Fuck. Oh no, we lose.
I almost got something. I almost got EMP. I got it.
Use it. We have grab.
Yeah, yes, this
yeah.
is...
Out the Ryan?
Okay.
Literally everyone just scattered with the MP.
So yeah, the turning for the Doom, we see immediately why it is usually the bad choice. You give yourself way too much vulnerability from behind. Not your job, and again, if we pro-con it out, we don't get any value from doing this. Keep our shield forward. Okay, let's really hope the other tank goes Ryan on attack. I'm gonna be very upset if he doesn't. Okay. So we see a Moira. We see a Ryan. Okay, good.
Like right here, I'd bubble you.
Oh wait, they don't have Ryan. That was a Genji that deflected your fire strike. Okay, well, that's fine. We are on defense, not going against the Ryan, but since we're on defense, we actually can do a lot more here. Ryan's main value is being able to actually just hold on corners of points really strong. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. Stall point and try to hold space when we want to move up. So we still have a Zarya, we have a Moira, we have a Reaper. We can still move into them when we get picks, which is the idea.
Yo, let's
Charge
push it.
now.
We
Now
would-
we
we
back
would-
up.
Oh, I got the Ana, dude. I got the Ana.
I got killed.
We're already seeing one of the issues. We're trying to move up after we get a pick, and we just get pushed right back and eat a ton of damage. It's just a hard matchup. So don't get frustrated in these. It is possible to play around on defense against these comps, just not on attack.
Left.
Okay, so we could have made a really cool play here. So we do get the pin, which is nice, but
Left.
when that hook comes out, you can actually, if you hold your shield up and then turn, you can put the edge of your shield to block this shot. Again, pretty advanced tech, but you have enough time. I mean, you have enough time to pin, and pulling your shield up, I think, is like an 11 frame animation. The pin animation, I think, is 40 frames. So 100%, we could have just blocked it with our shield. So this is another thing to think about how you can use your shield. And it's just put your shield up and then turn yourself to the right, and that far left of the shield, think of it like a pivot. So like, this one's your shield, and this is kind of how you're aiming your mouse. So if you turn just a little bit to the right, this side comes down, this side goes up. So you can get a lot of extra reach just by kind of turning your shield. We get a pin, but we got like no ult charge off of it because he died. That's super unfortunate. When I pin Hog, I'm expecting 20% ult charge. So I'm upset.
Hey, fall back, fall back, fall back.
Where's my mouse? There.
I'm back.
Let's go here.
666.
Just gonna walk in, we're just trying to build that ult charge. We're doing fine. It's hard to get in with that Lucio speed, but we do get in, which is nice. We get pushbacks. This is also what we're talking about as far as a push and pull. Our Zarya has no more bubbles. We pushed into them. It's now their opportunity to push into us, so we got to back up.
Hey, fall back, fall back, fall back.
So the Reaper has a rad idea. We kind of pushed in. Let's get out of there. There was a Genji in our backline apparently the whole time that we didn't know about. 100% not your job anyway. So super unfortunate, but with Baptiste down, you probably lose this fight.
Back here. Sorry.
Unless you get a pick. You're okay. Ooh, nice fire strike. Hammond's also not your job. The only time you go for Hammond is if you hear like the pile drive sound. You can just turn and try to shift and pin him. That's absolutely okay as Ryan. But typically, especially on defense, just hold this front line as much as we can. When that Hammond lands, if you guys are going to kill him, you're going to kill him anyway. You're not going to have enough damage to do it. But keep your shield up here and we can actually prevent the healing going on him. Yeah, Hammond's not your job. Keep eyes forward.
Falls behind us.
Because again, you have no way to actually kill him yourself, right? So have that solo queue mentality in these scenarios, especially as a main tank. And just understand, my team can do something about it, I can't. If they don't do anything about it, that sucks. That's fine. But all you can do is put your team in the best position to succeed. Us turning around isn't doing that. So keep forward.
Nice.
Keep forward. Keep forward. Alright, so we clean up this fight. Very nice.
Grab.
Our Reaper is actually getting a ton of value for us. So we saw the Reaper killed the Doom. So when things are behind us, we can let them handle it for the most part.
There's an on the far right.
Is this an opportunity? The fight was just over. We won. I want to make sure I recharge my shield. That's a little too low for what I like. So just tell them, hey, recharging shield and chill for a bit. Because our shield's about to break. And that's going to give us no value.
Elevator, you're recharged.
Okay, so now we call it. And that's fine, but we should have done that earlier. So it'd be full for right now. That's fire strike.
Wave grab and Reaper ult.
Oh no! I almost had it, dude. I almost had a ball.
Yes, this is fine. You have a couple options. Typically the best is just find their Sigma and just stand in front of him. Just try to annoy him as much as we can. Or you can be actively trying to build your Shatter, which we have now. It's a tough spot when you start losing people. You just kind of do whatever you can.
Come back.
You should be able to
Wait,
recontest.
give him like a 2 ticks.
Yeah.
Get out right.
Yeah, hey, five was fuck.
Third.
We could have done a little bit more to protect Zarya here.
Get out right.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I know you're weak, you're low shield, so you're mainly thinking about yourself, which is actually what our whole emphasis of this video has been. But let's try to help Zarya just a little bit right there. Okay, we lose this.
They're just playing aggro. We just.
Oh, big shatter, big shatter. Winnable. Get that on, get that on, get that on. 100% on it. Nice.
They're down healers.
Yeah, and just stay alive. Your job right now is to stay alive as long as possible, because if they're putting any attention towards you and you're staying alive, that damage isn't going on your team. You made a really nice play here. Andrew Baptiste made a great play to keep you up there. You're okay. You're okay. You did your job. You put your team in a position to win. I really like that play. Good chatter.
I'm
he's
so
dead.
dead. I'm so dead.
We're good, we're good.
Shit, we have got
Stick
to
together,
And I hate doing water views that you're going against Sigma's Ryan, but let's still find as much as we can. Alright, so their team's walking in. This is one of those weird cases where you want to go for hero plays. So this is like an old school Ryan thing, but whenever I hear a blade coming in from Genji, my goal is to pin him. We don't have pin up, never mind. But yeah, my goal is always to pin him. I don't hesitate nothing. I turn and I just hit shift and I hope to hit him. It's so much fun. Right. Ooh, good grab. And yeah, Sigma destroys Reinhardt.
Fucking
There was nothing you could have done there at all. I think you did everything right. You just kind of chilled
line on
and
point,
let it
don't get
happen.
on point.
Again, kind of lame playing Ryan into Sigma and stuff because a lot of the fights are like that. And we built a bit of a ult charge. That's good.
Don't get on point, dude! Genji, 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 Genji. Genji, Genji.
So a couple things I would be looking at here is ult charges. So we know we're going to have this for this fight. We won't have this. We won't have this. We will get this. This will happen on the second fight. There's a minute left, so we have 2 more fights. My goal is to build this as soon as possible, because if this whiffs, you're going to have the only actual effective ult. So in my mind, that's all I'm trying to do right now is build my ult. And I trust Doom to get some value. So Fire Strike. Okay.
They're gonna have nano.
And smart. I love what just your little tech things. It's perfect. You got bubbled. You dropped your shield to help get more charge for your Zarya. Do note that if you have your shield up and you are bubbled, the energy it still gives your Zarya energy, but it is an opportunity to save your shield a little bit.
No, they just
already?
no.
Are they?
I used my grab on their
Yeah,
Drake.
get ready, I'm knocking away.
Okay, come on, Doom. Big play. Okay, Doom's ulting.
Reaper, Reaper. Nice.
Got him.
That's a pin opportunity right here, right here. Oh, he didn't pile drive. What an idiot. Why would he ult without pile driving? Good Fire Strike. We have no shield, which is okay. So just, you can either go out there and swing, or what I would do, again, taking all the information you can. This fight took a while. This is now last fight. I'm 1 Fire Strike away from my ult, and my Fire Strike is coming off a cooldown. 100%. All I care about is hitting this Fire Strike. What I would actually do in this scenario is I would go through Hotel on Fire Strike to guarantee that I hit it and then shatter. Because you can have no value to your team right now with your shield because your shield's dead. That's at least what I would do. 100% all I care about.
I got her, dude. I got her, dude. Don't worry about her.
Oof. Okay, so we have shatter. There's 10 seconds left. Which means at this point in the game, any shatter is a good shatter. Kind of like when we first started the video.
Reaper on point.
Like, I would consider just shattering the Reaper right now.
I'm gonna drop down from the Statue of Liberty.
Okay, we win. Alright, let's look at... You sent me another one before...
What's silver damage Neelam's?
Oh, no, man, that's super old. Okay.
What's silver damage Neelam's? I gotta know.
Alright, so that was solid. We got a lot more when the other Rhino was on defense. So the main things I want to start emphasizing, 100% just focus on ult charge. Get that in your mind. Just, I want to get ult charge. That's all I want to do. Let me get my ult charge. If you do that, especially in solo queue, you'll win more than not. In team play, when you're playing Reinhardt, same thing applies until we have a call. So if we aren't calling for any ults, it's the first or second fight, or it's just a kind of breakdown on a reset, that's the time to just build your ult charge. Now, if we have a call, hey, we're going to nano visor, we're going to grab dragon, then everything changes. Then 100% all you're trying to do is assist in those ults coming off. So next time we send a VOD review, I want you to find a Ryan v Ryan game if you want a Ryan VOD. Otherwise, we can look to record a scrim game from us so we can focus more on the ult side of things. That's mainly what our team's going to be focusing on for the next couple weeks is ult economy and ult charge. Because as I've been going through your guys' VOD reviews, that's like the #1 thing I feel you guys are struggling with, at least mentally, how to prep and set that up. So we're going to really be focusing on that. Any questions, definitely let me know. We'll get to the next one.